Disclaimer, guys. This is not a how-to. Betty Chronicles is just purely documentation of the struggles of a beginner baker.
Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Diavion Johnson and I'm bringing you another video. Okay, so this video is a lot different than what I usually have on my channel. I usually have try on hauls from the recent uploads. I really don't have that many videos, but you know. So basically I wanted to do a baking video because I like to bake, but even though I'm not an expert baker, I can kind of like give some tips or kind of like show you guys what I'm going through as a beginner baker. Now, this is going to be my first time ever doing cupcakes. In this video, specifically, we're going to be talking about lemon cupcakes. And this is not my recipe. I got this recipe from another YouTuber, so I will of course link her measurements of the things down below or across the screen. I will also link her video in the description box. We don't really take credit for people's work. That's lame. Anyways, we're gonna get started on the video because I don't want the video to be too long, but I will have to go through a baking process. So I just want to go ahead and just get started. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay guys, to begin the video, I'm going to start off by telling you the ingredients you will need for not only the actual cake part, but also the frosting. So in here, I do have 2 cups of flour and I will have to do something different in there. So just be mindful of that once I get to there. This is the cornstarch. You don't have to use cornstarch. If you don't have cornstarch, you don't have to go out and get it. You just need the flour, really. But I'm going to show you later exactly what I'm doing different with the flour per the video that I watched. I also have 3 lemons. 2 of these lemons will need to be zested for your actual cake, and then 1 of them will need to be for, it'll just need to be for the frosting. You really could just use 2 lemons. I didn't really need to get 3 lemons, but you know, extra. Anyways, I also have some cream cheese, which will be for the frosting. I have some salted butter because, I mean, it was just a little bit of this. And I do need 2 unsalted butter sticks. You really just need unsalted butter. Like if you don't have unsalted butter, of course you can use salted butter, but just be mindful that your cake will probably be a little bit salty. I have 2 eggs, if I didn't say that. Pure vanilla. Okay, if you're making cupcakes, you of course need cupcake liners. So yeah, I got this great value and they're gonna be gold. I also got some confectioner's sugar, some powdered sugar. I'll need a lot of that. And then for the color, to add extra yellow color, I'm going to do food coloring. Okay guys, we're going to begin making the actual cake part. Now, like I said, I put 2 cups of flour in here. She said that you can use all-purpose flour, but she said bread flour or cake flour is the best flour to use in order to get this soft cupcake. So she said that if you don't have baking flour or cake flour, then you can just use all-purpose flour and then take 1/4 cup of the flour out and then substitute it for the cornstarch. So I'll let you guys see what I'm going to do. I'm taking 1/4 flour out. Just in case some of y'all need to know, I did wash my hands, of course, but just in case nobody realized that you're supposed to wash your hands before you cook anything or bake anything, I did wash my hands before I started this video. Okay, take 1/4 of the flour out. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just an extra step. And then you take the cornstarch, whatever cornstarch you have, of course, and then you put 1/4 of that into the flour. Now you're done with the cornstarch, so you can put that up if you want to. Now that we have the flour and the cornstarch in the same bowl together, we'll need to mix it up. So I'll just do a little bit of whisking. All right, I'm gonna set that aside because next thing you know, we're going to be over here in our stand mixer where I'm going to be whipping together butter, sugar, and all the wet ingredients for the cake. Okay, guys, so it's just been a second for you, but it's been about the 15-30 minutes for me. Let's start off by saying that I did forget one ingredient, and that is buttermilk. But since I don't have buttermilk, we're gonna make our own buttermilk, and this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, guys, this is how you make buttermilk if you do not have buttermilk at home. I learned how to make this years ago when I was making buttermilk pancakes. You take a cup of milk. This is how much I need. This is why I'm using a cup of milk. But if your recipe calls for a half a cup, then you only take half a cup. I need a cup of milk, and then I'm also going to take some vinegar, and I'm going to pour it in there. Now that's about a teaspoon and a half. I poured it in there, and basically that's going to have time to sour. So we're going to wait on that while I'm doing all the other stuff. And when I come back, it should have curdled up a little bit. If it didn't, then I mean, we're just gonna have milk with vinegar in it. Okay. Another thing that was like really trying on my nerves for the 15 minutes that I was gone, but it was only a second for you, is the fact that usually I have baking powder in here because I'm the only one who bakes stuff with baking powder. So I'm the only one who would know to throw away the baking powder. So I don't have any baking powder. And the recipe calls for two teaspoons of baking powder. So I've been doing some quick little research or whatever, trying to figure out what I need to do in order to incorporate a substitute for baking powder. I have baking soda because we always have baking soda, right? So I took 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Hopefully this works. If my cupcakes do not rise like they're supposed to and do not come out the way it's supposed to, then we know why. This little baking soda substitute, first of all, I don't even know if it's going to work, but hopefully it does. Hopefully I got enough. If you are at this part and you have baking powder, you need to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in your flour mixture. Okay? Now, since I don't have baking powder, I'm supposed to put a teaspoon to every half a teaspoon of baking soda or lemon juice. I can use either vinegar or lemon juice. Ooh, that's fizzy. I feel like a scientist. Like baking is just really being a scientist. Like that's what I feel like. So let me stir that up real quick. Now I'm not going to put that in my dry ingredients because it's wet now. I am actually at the stand mixer, and I have 1 full stick of butter and a half a stick of butter. Getting straight into what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to put 1 1/4 cup of sugar. So here's 1 cup. And here is 1/4 a cup. Now I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract in there. You can put less. You cannot use a vanilla if you don't want to. I'm going to. Okay. Okay, so next you're going to zest 2 lemons into this mixture, this stand mixer. And then after you mix that into the stand mixer, you're going to actually start the mixing. All right, so as you can see, I actually zested the 2 lemons in here. Now, I'm not sure if you can add more. I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, it's your recipe. If you don't think it's enough lemon flavor in there, you can, of course, add more, add lemon extract or anything like that. I actually am going to put more lemon flavor in there by squeezing a lemon in there later on once I put the dry ingredients. So keep that in mind. So now that I have all of that in there, I'm going to actually put this down and we're going to get started mixing. Okay, you see that it actually got fluffy. So this is when you would normally add your vanilla extract. instead of in the beginning. But now that I have gotten to the consistency that I want, I'm going to actually start adding the eggs. Okay, I'm going to add my first egg. And then we're going to start mixing that in there. Once that's fully mixed, we're going to add the other egg. Okay, so that's mixed up now, and we're going to add our makeshift baking powder. Okay, now that's the baking powder is mixing in there, really baking soda, but the 2 teaspoons of baking powder is mixing in there. We're just going to mix it until it's just right. Actually, I'm going to come back on here in like a little bit and squeeze 1 whole lemon in here. All right, guys, you see how smooth it is? I will have to go back onto the sides and take all that stuff out, but right now I'm going to add this first half of the lemon, and then I'm gonna add the other half. Okay, guys, I squeezed the other half of the lemon off camera, and I also had to fish out the seeds that I dropped in there. I'm a mess. I forgot lemons even had seeds, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and put the mixer, the whisk tool back on, and we're going to start to mix it again. We don't want to mix it too much. We just want to mix it until it's just right, and then go around the sides and take the powder that we are missing. Okay, yes, I preheated the oven to 350 right now, and I'm going to actually finish mixing it up, and I'm going to actually fill this up with the cupcake batter that I hope is okay and it's going to rise all right. I'm going to scoop it with a ice cream scooper. Okay, everything's mixed up, and now I'm about to add use an ice cream scooper and add the mixture into these things. Okay, so this is it with the ice cream scooper. Here's the consistency. My research says that you don't need to pull it all the, like you're not supposed to pull it all the way up or it'll rise too much. Hopefully it does rise because of the fact that I didn't put baking powder, but I'm going to fill it up at least 3/4 of the way. All right, guys, I'm back and everything has been filled up. Now, I don't think that I overfilled these. I put them at least 3/4 of the way. Now, this one, if it looks high, it's not. But, I think I didn't overfill them. But, I also thought I had baking powder and I didn't. So, I don't think my thoughts and my judgment is like something that we need to think about right now. I think we need to put them in the oven, cook them for 18 to 20 minutes or until something can come out of it and not have anything on it, like a fork if you don't have a toothpick or anything like that. I'm gonna bake it, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a cake. Hopefully it rises like it's supposed to, and hopefully a lot of things. I do still have a lot of batter and my area is dirty, so I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then I'm going to come back to where I'm actually making the icing. Right now I have in the bowl is 1 package of cream cheese. Then I have the other half of that unsalted butter that I cut up for the actual cake part, and then that tablespoon of salted butter that we had in the fridge. You're really supposed to use 1/2 cup, but this is gonna work for me. I'm going to put this in there, and then also I'm going to squeeze 1/2 of a lemon in here. Now, I actually took the seeds out this time. There shouldn't be any seeds dropping in there. So we're going to go ahead and squeeze this into the, okay, well, yeah, there is seeds. Never mind. Okay, I'm back. I took those little seeds out that I thought I took out before. Okay, let me make sure that this is on here because earlier I did not have it on right. Now I'm mixing it. I went ahead and just squeezed the other half of the lemon in here. Even though the recipe calls for 1/2 a lemon, I didn't feel like that half that I squeezed had enough juice. So I just went ahead and just squeezed the other half of the lemon in there. Okay guys, now this is still mixing, and while it's mixing, I'm going to add the powdered sugar that I showed you guys earlier as well. Now this, you will need to have 4 cups of powdered sugar, just so you guys know. I recommend adding a cup of the powdered sugar at a time. Right now I have 2 cups in here. So far, the icing for the cupcakes are at the consistency that I want it to be. I'm going to add a couple drops of yellow food coloring to give it that spring yellow color. Okay, so this is what my cupcakes look like. It actually wasn't too bad. I was just really worried about overfilling them. This one should have been filled up a little bit more, but it's okay for me. I let them cool down a little bit, and I also put my icing in the refrigerator for about 5-10 minutes for them to cool a little bit. Now I also don't have a piping bag. First of all, I don't know how to pipe icing, but I do know how to fill it in a gallon bag. And now I'm going to cut the tip off, and then I'm going to ice the cupcakes. I'll be back when my stuff is iced, and that'll complete the video. Okay, so this is how the ending of my cupcakes look like. I probably could have let it set a little bit. That's it. I'll come back on when someone is able to actually tell me what it tastes like. So this is actually the next day, which is Easter. It's towards the end of the day. I'm just basically coming back on here to tell you guys the reactions and the opinions that I got of the cupcakes that I made, you know, the little struggle things that I did throughout this entire video. When I tasted the cupcake, I felt like the icing was, I mean, it was okay. And the cake was okay. But another thing is that I'm very critical of myself, especially when it comes to things that I make. So, I mean, I felt like it was pretty good for my first time, but is it the best cupcake I've ever tasted? No. The icing, it was a tad bit sweet for me, but the recipe that I mimicked, it did call for 4 cups of powdered sugar. And then the actual cupcake, I felt like it could have been moister. I like my cakes to be a little bit moist, but it was okay. One of the family members said that they wasn't the biggest fan of the icing because it was a little bit too sweet for them. But that really depends on if you like sweet things. If you don't like super sweet things, then you're not gonna like it. That wraps up the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and most definitely subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.